later.
All right, cool. Thank you. Thanks for those stories too. Okay, so back in October 2023, I attend something called the World Burn Conference. And y'all might be wondering what this is. Essentially, it's a gathering of burn survivors and their loved ones, a way to share, resources and experiences with people who have gone through similar things. And back in October 2020, I was burned in a cooking accident. Essentially, I was cooking on my gas stove and my shirt caught the flame below. Ended up in the hospital with around third degree burns, second degree burns, around 30% of my body. Stayed there for 2.5 months. And now, as I'm going to this conference in October 2023, the last 3 years of my life, I hadn't, become acquainted, made friends with anyone who looked like me. So going to this conference, I was like, let's go, finally gonna meet some people who look like me. All right, it's gonna be cool. And I get there, and I see other burn survivors with visible scars and those without scars. I don't know, I just kind of isolate myself. I'm like, I've gone the past 3 years without talking to anyone who looks like me. Now that I have the chance to do so, I'm like, I don't know what to say. And I see other burn survivors talking with one another and laughing and joking, and I don't know, again, I just walked that whole night outside by myself, and I go to bed early, and I wake up the next morning, I'm like, all right, I can do this. I check out the conference sheet with all the breakout rooms and stuff, and I see one, it's like LGBTQ breakout room. I'm like, oh my gosh, how niche, I have to go. So I go to this breakout room, and it's a bunch of burn survivors sitting around in a semicircle, and we just talk for an hour or so about being queer and being a burn survivor and any intersection of the two. And we leave and we exchange numbers with one another, and I'll call this guy the leader of the group because he lives in DC where the conference is, and he's been to the conference many times. He's like, let's all go out to a gay bar or gay club before we leave. And we're like, yes, of course. So we go back to the conference with that intention in our minds. And by this point, I'm walking around the conference halls with my head held a little higher, giving head nods to other burn survivors, not really needing to say anything, just acknowledging one another's presence. And it gets to the night before the last day of the conference, and I meet up with all these burn survivors, and we start walking to this club called Bunker. Maybe if y'all know the gay clubs in DC, you've been there. So we walk to this club called Bunker, and I'm a little bit are we gonna attract attention? I've never been with a group of burn survivors, what's that gonna be like, just out in public? But we step into the club, and all those feelings just kind of fade away because the leader of the group, he just takes off his shirt and starts dancing, and he's in good company because there's a bunch of other gay ripped men just out there doing the same. I'm weird, okay. And so we just dance for hours that, just normal friends and looking out for one another, being each other's wingmen. And at one point in the night, I just start getting super hot, and the thing about burn survivors, wherever you see the visual, the scars and whatnot, we can't sweat in those areas. So unlike someone who isn't burned, I can't regulate my body temperature as well. And so I'm should I step outside? Should I grab some water to cool down? And I'm seeing all these other people with their shirts off, so I'm just fuck it. And I take my shirt off, and I have a Fenty sports bra underneath, and I'm feeling pretty hot about myself now. Fenty's Rihanna's, lingerie line if you don't know. And I just danced for that the rest of the night, and we all start walking back to the conference center together, and one of the girls who was dancing with us, she's been dancing in heels the whole night, so she's done with them. I'm girl, I got you, we can change shoes, and I have these same boots on, we're leaning each other on the sidewalk, and she's stepping in my shoes, and I'm trying to step in her heels, but I've got these long socks on, so it's just kind of weird, but I do my best to walk back to the conference center in the heels. And I get there, we all hug goodnight, and the next morning I wake up, and it's about to be I'm about to hop into a taxi to head back to a train to New York City. And one of the girls who was burn survivor, queer burn survivor, went out with the night before, she comes up to me, she's I just want to thank you for dancing the way you did last night, being so free and confident. You make me want to be the same way and be confident in my skin. And I'm just wow, thank you for telling me. And she's a firefighter and has burns on her hands and her arms, and I know she's powerful, so I just tell her you're beautiful with or without scars. And again, we hug goodbye, and I just, in those moments, like felt acknowledged for who I am, and I wanted to keep being me. And I get in the taxi and I just write a few reflections of my weekend at this World Burn Conference, and it goes a little something like this. See me. Hundreds stare at me the past 3 years, and I never feel seen. One weekend with other survivors, I finally get what it means to feel seen.